What's good, Commanders fans? And it was training camp day 2. I'm hearing tomorrow, since it's going to be pretty darn hot tomorrow, they're going to have practice at 8 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. So be ready for that. I will be at training camp on Tuesday coming up. I know some people that are going to be there on Sunday, so that's pretty lit. There's a small chance I go Sunday, but I definitely will be there on Tuesday, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Excited for that. All right, so let's get started here. So a couple people had veteran rest days. It was Von Miller, and he did his post-practice interview as well. It was Von Miller, Noah Brown, and who was the last person? I'm looking at John Combs' Twitter right now. Laramie Tunzel. They had a vet day off on day 2 of training camp, which is definitely interesting for sure. Some people in the comment section were like, man, I wish I could get a veteran rest day for my job on the second day of work or something like that. So that was pretty funny, but, Dan Quinn knows what he's doing. He did a great job with Austin Eckler last year, Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner. All the guys who are 30 and over played very, very well for the most part. I'm trying to think about anybody, if I'm forgetting anybody. Nick Ballore did a great job, 30 and over. Tress Way, 30 and over, did a great job. Eckler, Ertz, Bobby. I'm trying to think of anybody else 30 and over. But you guys get the point. So you just got to sit back and trust Dan Quinn. So it is interesting that they're sitting out on the second day of training camp. But, I guess they got something ramped up tomorrow in a hot day. So we'll see what happens with that. But, all right, so let's get the play-by-play real quick. So let's see where to get started. I'm a little out of order here on and then Hulk Hogan passed away. So in other news, not gonna get too much of that, but all you wrestling fans for sure definitely were impacted by Hulk Hogan growing up. So it's crazy all these people just passing away, all these celebrities and stuff like that. But rest in peace. But back to football. Jakory Brooks is a dog, man. He's been balling, so he's taking advantage of Terry being out. He's been playing with the starters, catching a touchdown from Jaden Daniels. Zach Selby said another touchdown catch for Jakory Brooks. So I had him. Initially I had him making the roster. Then after hearing from Craig Hoffman and I think Ben Standig said that he's on the outside looking in and is going to make the practice squad, there's a chance that he can make the roster now, because it would be Terry when he comes back and hopefully signs an extension sooner than later. Terry, Jalen Lane, Debo, Noah, that's 4. Luke McCaffrey, that's 5. And then 6 between KJ Osborne, Michael Gallup, Chris Moore, and Jakory Brooks. Chris Moore's been balling too. So those 2 guys have a strong chance of getting that 6th roster spot. And Jakory Brooks is taking advantage of the opportunities right now that he's getting. I just want to see it in the preseason games of competition. Definitely want to see how he does in these joint practices in the preseason games, because he has the talent, man. He went to Alabama. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, right? Something like that. I mean, to go to Alabama, you have to be highly touted coming out of high school. And he put up numbers at Alabama. It's not like he just rolled the bench. Like, he put up numbers at Alabama too. And then he had a darn good season at Louisville with Tyler Shook, I believe, was his quarterback. But this guy Jakory Brooks, man, he's making noise, man. So let's see what he had 1,000 yards last year and 9 touchdowns, 61 catches. So let's see if he does make some noise here in the preseason games. I just want to see that for sure. All right, so Zach Selby says, excuse me, good coverage. Oh, and people are saying he's turning heads and all kinds of stuff. So he's been cooking against the first team defense too. So we'll see how it happens with Jakory Brooks. I'm intrigued to really see him out there in person on Tuesday. Zach Selby says, good coverage by the defense during 7-on-7 with Marcus Mariota, and that quarterback forced him to scramble on back-to-back reps. That happened last year a good amount with Marcus Mariota, but I'm not concerned because he came in and did an excellent job when he had to come in last year. So I'm not concerned if he is having up and down practice. Nice pass breakup by Noah I while working against Michael Strachan, who's 6'5", who had a touchdown pass in his hands before it was broken up. So nice play by Noah I. Noah I had a pass breakup yesterday against Jakory Brooks as well. Jaden's first pass, wide open touchdown to Chris Moore. Jaden just starts out hot, man. He's not playing around, man. He's really not. Like, he's a man on a mission, and he is a top 5 quarterback, like ESPN rated him. And there's a chance he can fool around and be MVP this year. It was a very close chance to it last year, I thought, other than Lamar and Josh Allen and Saquon and Derrick Henry. But man, like, he's starting off back-to-back days with beautiful touchdown passes. The one to Debo and then now to Chris Moore. Like I said, Chris Moore's balling too. And Jaden makes guys better. That's the thing too. He makes guys better. Like he maximizes guys' skills. And that's why I say Terry, like he's going to maximize Terry's skills, his skill set again this year if Terry does resign or get the extension. Zach Selby says, nice catch by Tyree Jackson. Used all of his 6'7" frame to make a diving catch near the sideline. So that was a good play by Tyree Jackson. I do like him. I think he was a former quarterback as well in college. So let's see what he does. Marcus Mariota now in at quarterback, first pass to Jakory Brooks for a decent gain. So Jakory Brooks again making a really nice play. And that's really it for the play-by-play. They didn't have much today at all. They didn't have much. Lake Lewis says it sounds real encouraging for Sam Cosmi's recovery. He's in awesome spirits and more importantly looks to be in great shape. Dan Quinn even said he hit all of his recovery markers. He could be playing a lot sooner than anticipated. So I wouldn't get my hopes up for week 1 because he's coming off an ACL injury. The injury happened on January 18th when we beat the Lions in the divisional round. So, but to expect him to be back in less than 8 months or something like that is definitely a tall ask, or very optimistic to say that. But I mean, like I said, with doctors and technology and different things like that, so who knows? Maybe he could make it back, but I wouldn't bet money on him to be ready week 1. I wouldn't do all in week 1, RG3 style. All right, what else here? So this is from Skylar Nelson. She is a beat reporter. Let me see who she works for. She works for the Washington Informer, sideline reporter, creative of Sky Vision Sports. She also went to Howard University as well. She says, Jakory Brooks is turning heads in the best way. These are her training camp notes. She says, Mikey Samerstill is pretty solid in the slot. So that's good to hear. Mikey out there with Marshawn Lattimore. Now he's in the slot with Trey Amos there and John Jones on the outside as well. So we get to see Mikey in the slot, which is what he played in college in Michigan, where he was pound for pound the best player per Nick Saban. So it's good to see him in that role. Von Miller, Laramie Tunsil, Noah Brown all had a vet day off, per Skylar Nelson and John Common, everybody else who was there. She also says that the JD5 and wide receiver Chris Moore connection is growing. So, like I said, Chris Moore, he's going to be on the practice squad or something. Like, he really is. He's going to be on the roster some way, somehow. I haven't heard anything about KJ Osborne. And somebody on Twitter said they haven't heard anything about Luke McCaffrey so far. It's only been 2 days. So you can't really just go crazy because you haven't heard anything about Luke McCaffrey so far. Or KJ Osborne. Tyree Jackson had a good day. He leaped so high for a catch near the sideline, per Skylar Nelson as well. I think Jacory Krosky Merritt did something today too. Let me see. And then after that, I'm going to sign off for today. There's really not much that happened today. I think he did score a touchdown today, but that might have been yesterday. But that's really it. I mean, for everything that happened today, it was really just like Jakory Brooks showing out and Tyree Jackson showing out, Chris Moore showing out. The wide receivers have really, really stepped up right now. Zach Selby says there are several players looking to claim those spots, including seasoned veterans like Chris Moore, Michael Gallup, others like KJ Osborne. Already have a year's worth of experience in Washington system, which would seemingly give them an advantage in the position of battle. But Brooks has moved into that conversation, at least for now, because he has been so productive in the first week. So he's definitely turning heads, and his stock is certainly rising. Certainly rising. So that is, that's it. Yeah, Zach Selby, all he wrote about today was Jakory Brooks and Tyree Jackson. That's all he talked about was Jakory Brooks and Tyree Jackson. Cole Turner, haven't heard much about Cole Turner either. And I have not heard anything about Ben Sinnott either. So those are some of the guys. Like I said, it's only been 2 days. But though, if you want to look at something, that is those are some of the guys I haven't heard about, and those are some of the second year guys that I definitely have my eyes on and radar on. And Nick Allegretti was taking some snaps with the quarterbacks during warmups. He'll work at guard as well as center this summer. Von Miller, he said this too. Like, one of the reasons why he came here is because of Jaden Daniels. And he was like, if I'm gonna leave Josh Allen, then it's got to be for a good quarterback. And Jaden Daniels is an elite, awesome quarterback as well. He said you can't leave Josh Allen just to go just anywhere. And he chose Washington because this team is all about winning. He said he can wake up out of bed and I can still roll out of bed, 36 years old with my house shoes on and rush the passer. So yeah, it's just awesome to hear a guy like Von Miller, who's been in the league and been there, done that. See him working with Ryan Kerrigan, who they worked out before the combine as well in that draft class. So just great to hear. He said all he's got to do is just worry about rushing the passer. And he compared it to basketball, like coming off the bench to shoot threes like J.R. He didn't say J.R. Smith, but basically he's going to have that role where he just has to come in and just worry about scoring points and worrying about rushing the passer. So, all right, you guys, as always, Healthy Commanders. Peace. This isn't about football, but I just realized and remember that Hulk Hogan did have a lot of racist and controversial comments. So I basically just gave him a tribute earlier in the video, and I might have to take that tribute back. But I still respect the grind and the hustle he did in the wrestling game, because I did watch wrestling growing up, like Rikishi and Stone Cold and The Rock and Kurt Angle and the Hardy brothers and all those guys. So he did lay a foundation for Ric Flair. He did lay a foundation, but he said a lot of racist things. So I'm going to leave it at that. But as always, Healthy Commanders. Peace.